One of the questions Darren and I pretty commonly get from non-farmers is, why do some farmers harvest grain as opposed to harvesting silage? What's really the difference between those two things?
The other side of that too is, as a farmer, what do you have to do to prepare for silage versus grain corn? And after you harvest silage versus grain corn, what do you have to do to that ground afterwards? When we look at feeding livestock, that's a big job of cornfields in the United States. We're harvesting number 2 yellow corn, not to put on your plate as sweet corn. It's a whole different crop than that. We're putting it out there for animal feed and for ethanol production. When we're harvesting it as silage, it's exclusively going for feed.
Okay, just to clarify this too, because Darren said with the grain, it's ethanol and some for feed. Just understand, all grain that goes to ethanol is also going to feed. All they pull out of that grain when they are making ethanol is the starch. That's it. So all the nutrients continue to go to livestock just like they always have. So anyway, the big difference that I guess I would talk about is just with silage, you're taking the whole plant. So you're mixing up all the leaves, the stalk, everything else together with the grain. With grain, obviously, all you're taking is physically the grain. And we used to, as farmers, harvest the whole ear, and then you'd have to take the grain off the ear, and then you'd have all these cobs left. Well, it doesn't work that way anymore. Modern combines now go through the field, and they shell that corn right in the field, so all you're left with is the grain, and everything else remains in the field when you're harvesting grain corn.
So clearly, there becomes a management decision for farmers of, wow, if I've got all this residue from the leaves and stalk and everything laying in my field, I've got to get that out of the way in order to plant my seed there next year. So a lot of farmers in that case may do some tillage to chop up those stalks and mix them into the soil, where a farmer that has harvested silage, well, if everything's gone except for the root mass and maybe a foot left of stalks, there's not much out in the field, so chances are that farmer doesn't need to do a whole lot of tillage.
In terms of storing the grain versus the silage, they are two different things as well. When people are harvesting silage, then they're cutting it much earlier in the season. The grain is actually still pretty wet. That silage has a lot of moisture to it. And then, in effect, there is some fermentation process that even goes on in the silage pile. It's whole different when farmers are talking about grain. They want to harvest the grain pretty dry. They even dry the grain down a little bit more and store the grain in bins at roughly 13 to 15% moisture. So very dry compared to that wet silage.
So when you drive by fields and you see a lot of the corn crop residue still out in the field, the farmer harvested the kernels of corn out of that field, versus when you see no stalks left other than maybe a foot-tall stub and a pretty clean field, you know that field was harvested for silage.
Well, either way, whether that corn is going for grain or the farmer's taking everything for silage, he's got to worry about weed control. We'll talk about controlling our Weed of the Week coming up later in the show.